Hello everyone and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth, where I'm pretty sure I have this all put together by now. We just need the outlying pieces. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this statue, which Edgeworth said that he thinks he saw before. It's not ringing any bells, but I'm sure as we get going it'll make sense. So this is the infamous Aleph Red statue. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. Oh, yeah. I need to deduce. Oh, wait a second. Did we see it during the crime scene? No. Oh, wait a sec. Discovered inside the elevator. And there it is. There's that statue. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So that's the real thing, and the one we're looking at is a fake. Oh, do we have to? We probably have to spot differences. Oh, I see one right off the bat, actually. Oh my god. Okay. Deduce. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yes. Yes, Eureka! These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? They're red in the other one. Yeah, pretty. They remind me of sunset when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do. But it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in that field spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? They're red, huh? Ah, sir, they're red. As I thought, the statue's a fake. Mr. LeBlanc. What do you want? Do you not know I am a busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The Aleph Red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is going to be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... Ew, what is that sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why are they sudden yelling? Now then... Oh... It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. No, Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. A fake? Ooh, he's mad. I believe that even further examination will be required, now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Jingfa. And I will present to you the evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. I saw it! I saw it already, actually. Right there. Because it's on top of a tarp for something we know for a fact was brought on board in Jingfa. I caught that. Oh, yeah. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Right? There's clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck under another piece of cargo. Oh. That's not possible. But it is, and it shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo is brought on board in Jingfa, there's no way that any of it, part of it, should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this is fake statue smuggled on board in Jingfa. Yup. Yeah, but then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There's only one reason why, to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. He did, because he knew the thing was going to be aboard in Jingfa. So if he could get a picture of it, not there, before it got to that point, then he could prove. He could have just as easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, however, you have it backwards, Francisca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge, which means there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Yes! Oh my god, it's the flight attendant. It's Cammy Meal. I guess the victim knew the real version of this was gonna get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Yep. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Jingfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Jingfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer, move the statue immediately. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! Oh, there's gonna be blood. Miss Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the olive red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol, and there was a reaction. Yes! I see, there's a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It seemed that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? The killer cleaned up all the blood. The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see, they had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Jingfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Jingfa? Another conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that's true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Jingfa, then this becomes highly suspect. Miss Meal's testimony. Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Jingfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in a seat at 5 a.m., you know. Lies! She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir. But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. To be continued! I'm doing really bad with these. Alright, we'll save. Then we got Miss Meal. See what she has to say for herself. I feel like the captain's in on it too. Miss Meal. Miss Meal? Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Jingfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in a seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Jingfa. Oh? Miss Cammy Meal. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one can make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well, Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes. Yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. What? How's a man supposed to react to testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! She fell asleep again. Looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Alright. Miss Meal, wake up! I'm wide awake. I'm awake. Miles Edgeworth, I demand you do something about this flight attendant this instant. Why ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use? If I remember correctly, food was being served in the first class in the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m. Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda. And what were you doing in the attendance room at that time? Eating and then having a most delicious dream. You mean you were neglecting your duties? No way! Sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Probably not gonna get anywhere. Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up! I'm awake, I'm awake. There we go. Meow. Why did you whip me? What did you whip me for, sir? Oh, what did I miss? Poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead. Oh, really? Sorry about that. You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony. So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Oh, I think the contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Raise an objection! Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. Huh? What are you talking about? It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. Because we have... this. I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal. Huh? A receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase Miss Tenero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp, as you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Tenero. Yes. Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now. I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Tenero, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase, after which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at that time? No. So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Miss Cammy Meal. Huh? Oh, the bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth. Cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? No. Reason for suspicion. Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew, but you think then maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Please leave Miss Tenero out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. Oh, get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda. course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of lied. I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. Oh, there you go. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. I gotta reel this back in. No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Miss Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies. But I say I wasn't an attendant. You wouldn't suspect me then, would you? Yes, I suppose that's true enough. She's already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten? Oh, yeah, I guess I just forgot. Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. I can't believe you would think that. I mean, me, a killer. Miss Mia, what did you mean just now by no one else who could have done it? And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal? I take care of the attendance room. That doesn't count. But I spend so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Burgundian. She is the only one on this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge of? Why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, so I'm really good at Burgundian. She's fluent in Burgundian. Yeah, that's already like super suspicious. And I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Burgundian. Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Burgundian. Very interesting. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Actually, your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eyes. Huh? But why? While Miss Nero is busy with the passengers and all of her other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands, thus providing you with ample time to commit the crime. Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you cease and desist in this line of conjectural questioning. I won't allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer. Defense lawyer? I don't know anyone like that. Who are you talking about? Alright. But I do not honestly believe Miss Meal does any actual work aboard this flight. Oh, that's not true, Mr. Edgeworth. Although, well... So what exactly do you do as the one in charge of some Burgundian stuff? I do stuff like translate things from and into Burgundian. Cammy's the only member of the crew who understands Burgundian, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Meal, I take it then that it is your job to process all Burgundian paperwork. Yeah, see, I totally pull my weight around here. So it would appear. Perhaps I should ask her for a few more details about her work, and Miss Meal, it's very unladylike to push suspicion onto someone else. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda is very sus. Here you go, pushing everything onto her again. I don't get what you're saying. It must be a really abstract concept, huh? The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head. Nope. So, where is it? That one? Document in Burgundian. We got her. So you're the only one in this flight crew that speaks Burgundian. Is that correct? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Burgundia for a while. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose, to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Burgundian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. Wait, what is she doing? It is exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document, but you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really, all you did was sign it. I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So sorry about that. Seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw that charge of murder on me just like that. If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever start to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Miss Tenira who is under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all of the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicion. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Tenira from the very beginning. Is it the suitcase? I like this came from the cargo hold, yeah. The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is that the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tenira for the murder. Miss Tenira buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail, but should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't even enough time to put the body back into the suitcase, ergo they made do with whoever was at hand adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? Where the murder took place? The special circumstances is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age, so no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there's no choice but to frame either Miss Tenira or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenira or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer. Yawn and... Are you done already? I'm about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. Wait, and isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Yup. Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. Cell phone. I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing and still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there's one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks's cell phone, or at least that's what you told me. That's right. But Agent Hicks's cell phone could not be found at the scene of the crime. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Haha, come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Francisca, I'd like to ask for your assistance. Call it. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Here we go. Agent Hicks's phone. It's ringing from somewhere, sir. Here, detective. Now, where is it coming from? It's supposed to get, like, louder? Alright, you know what? We'll find the cell phone in the next episode. Oh, I'm so excited to see how this is going to play out. Find the missing cell phone. Somewhere in here. That's crazy. Alright, whatever. We'll find it in the next episode. I'm so excited to see where this is going. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.